So today we are making a 9-patch block. I'm working on a project with Handmade by Ying, Donna at Handmade by Ying, and this requires a couple of items. We are going to have a 5.5 by 5.5 inch square. So I'm going to cut that first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And then we're going to go this way and we're going to do 5.5 again. I'm going to straighten out this edge down here at the far end. And take that little stain out of the fabric. I don't know what that is, but we don't want that in our block. One, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. I'm just making sure I line up perfectly because I want everything to be perfect. Those will go into my scrap quilts. Okay, and then I need 4 3-inch by 3-inch squares. I'm going to cut off this end down here that's all wrinkly. And I'm going to do 2 layers right here. So I can get 2 pieces at 3 inches wide. Double check myself, 16 down to 13 is 3. I normally cut faster than this, but since I'm doing this and it's going to be shipped off to somebody, I want to make sure it's perfect. So we're going to go here. We're going to trim this in straight. 16 minus 3 is 13. Cut it straight. That's 2 of my 3 by 3 squares. And then I'll go back here. Ah, shoot! 16 minus 3 is 3. So there's our scrappy pieces. And then for the other part of the block, I need 3 inches by 5 inches. So I'm going to come down here. I have 4 pieces there. I don't. So we'll cut off a 3-inch piece here. And this has been ironed and starched within a 1/4 inch of its life. But I'm still going to measure and make sure. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Line my ruler up 3 inches. And then we're going to cut the end down here so it's square. And then we're going to go down to 14. Let me double check my measurement. I need 5.5, not 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So I have 4 5.5-inch pieces. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the way my block goes together is the center goes here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Donna gave me an easy block. probably because she knows I'm going to have hand surgery this week. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one row at a time and just go over here and put it together. And I'm going to do it the way Valerie Nesbitt teaches it. So let's get you to where you can see my 1/4 inch seam. I'm not going to break thread. And I'm going to bring these 2 pieces over here. Quarter inch seam. Okay, so I'm going to sew down this seam. And then I'm going to take the next 2 pieces. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm lining up my ends. 1/4 inch seam. And I'm not breaking thread. And then I'm going to go right back up to the top. I had to change the bobbin thread in the middle there, which I did not show on camera. And then we're going to bring in the next piece of white that goes over here. Quarter inch seam. And then there's a pretty piece of purple that goes right here. And then another piece of white that goes right here. Okay, now everything gets pressed to the dark. This gets pressed to the dark. I'll lay it down here flat on the table so you can see it. Dark, dark. Dark. Because of the way this block's laid out, it works out great to press to the dark because that brings you pressing to the, or lets you match your seams up. Okay. And then I'm going to take them and I'm going to turn them over like this. And I'm going to nest my seams. And because I'm doing this for a special project and not just for a quilt for me, I'm going to put a needle in at the intersections just to make sure that everything matches up. I'll do the same on the other side. You could do this easily without putting the pins in there. Biggest thing is you want to make sure that your seams nest. And like I said, since this is for a special project, I want to make sure my seams be perfect. You don't have to put seams in if you make this block. Or you don't have to put pins in if you make this block. I'm doing it because I'm a perfectionist, and it will drive me crazy if I don't, if I get my corners off. I will go back and pick it out and re-sew it, pick it out and re-sew it. This isn't the first time I've recorded this video today. So yes, I already know that it will drive me crazy. All right, and because I am shipping this block, instead of putting it into a quilt here, I'm going ahead and doing a little tiny bit of back stitching. And I'm going to make sure that my edges are lined up. Cut off my strings. It's more important that my seams match up at the corners of the blocks than at the outside edge. Never sew over a pen. Good way to break a needle, break a pen, stick something in your eye, hurt yourself. Bad, bad habit to get into. So pull your pens before you get there. We've sewn our seams, sewn everything up on our machine. I'm going to finger press all my seams open. Look how good my points came out. Not bad, not bad at all. I'm going to go ahead and get that seam or that string and that string. I did starch my fabric before I started, but I'm going to go ahead and starch my block again, just because that's what I like to do. Doesn't take tons of starch. A little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to starch the front first. Then I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to starch and make sure that everything is still laying the direction that I put it to start with. So I want this to go to the inside. Once this is sewn into the quilt, you don't want your seams showing. A little starch will make that go right where I want it. So would a little water, but I had starch handy. Again, come back over to the front, give it another press. And you guys are getting an up close view of this. So you can see I have a little tiny overlap at the corner there. Believe me, from 6 feet away, 10 feet away, or from sleeping underneath this quilt, no one will be able to see a difference. And I'm just trimming so my edges are straight. Getting threads off, etc. pretty close to the right size anyway. So my little hair lines aren't going to change anything. Like I said, I'm trimming so my edges are straight. Okay, so that is my block done for the traveling quilt along. If you're interested in doing one, I will put the details at the end of this video. You can send an email to Donna at handmadebying.com. Handmade by Ying, B-Y-Y-I-N-G. Until July 2nd. They are expecting to have all of the blocks back by July 23rd. And then Donna will be putting the blocks together on a live stream for 3 quilts. I know that they have enough to do 1 quilt. The second one is started, and they're still looking for block makers for the 3rd quilt. So if you want to do one, go ahead and get in touch with Donna. I've actually done 2 of the same block. One of these is going to Donna. One of them staying here with me. And I'm going to include it in a scrap quilt that I'm doing, just kind of as a sentimental thing. I'm going to do some embroidery on the one that I keep that says something along the lines of, one of these blocks was included in a scrap quilt, da-da-da-da-da, traveling quilt along. And thank you for watching. You have a great day.